I was halfway through my first cup of coffee, staring out the kitchen window at a world that looked like it had been erased by snow, when someone started pounding on my front door like they were trying to kick it in. Not a polite knock. Not a sorry to bother you. This was the kind of pounding that says, I own this moment. I own your time, and you're going to deal with me whether you like it or not. Outside, the blizzard was still ripping through northern Colorado, the worst we'd had in years. The county had already declared a state of emergency. Roads were closing. Power lines were down in some areas. And out where I lived, outside a small town called Red Hollow, you didn't just stop by in weather like this unless something was seriously wrong. So yeah, my first thought wasn't concern. My first thought was, great. Here we go. I pulled on boots, tightened my hoodie, and walked to the door already irritated. Through the frosted glass, I saw a figure bundled in layers, shifting impatiently. I didn't unlock it yet. I just called out, yeah? A woman's voice snapped back instantly. Open the door right now. This is urgent. That tone hit me like a slap. Not panic. Not fear. Pure entitlement. I cracked the door 2 inches. Wind and snow shot inside like the storm had been waiting for permission. Standing there was a woman in her late 50s with perfect hair under her hood, cheeks red from cold and rage. Behind her, down my long driveway, a white SUV was stuck in a drift like it had given up on life. She didn't say hello. She said, I need to use your phone. I blinked. Excuse me. My phone is dead. I've been stuck out here for almost an hour. Let me in. That, let me in, wasn't a request. It was a command, like I was her doorman. Now, I'm not a cruel person. I'm not going to leave someone outside in freezing weather just because they've got a bad attitude. But I'll admit, every stubborn bone in my body wanted to close that door again out of principle. I asked, who are you? She lifted her chin like she couldn't believe I'd asked her to identify herself. Colleen Hart, president of the Silver Creek Ridge Community Association. I frowned. Okay, and why are you on my porch during a blizzard? She stepped forward like she was pushing her way through the conversation. Because you're in violation of multiple community regulations. I stared at her for a long second. Then I actually laughed, just a quick, surprised sound. Ma'am, I don't live in a community. She smiled slowly, like I was adorable. Like I was a kid insisting Santa wasn't real. Yes, she said. You do. That was the first moment my stomach dropped. Not because I believed her, but because she said it like it was fact. I've lived on my property for 7 years. Quiet land, a small house, long driveway, a couple goats, a shed I built myself. I work remotely doing tech consulting, and I moved out here specifically to stay away from people who enjoy telling other adults what to do. No HOA. No meetings. No nosy neighbor committees. That was the entire point. I opened the door and stepped aside. Come in before you freeze. She pushed past me without even a thank you, stomping snow onto my wood floors like she was making a statement. I pointed at the landline sitting on a table by the living room. Phone's right there. She grabbed it and started barking into it immediately, calling someone about towing, road access, emergency clearing. She spoke like she was coordinating the entire county response, and honestly, that alone irritated me. People like her always act like they're the main character in everyone else's story. While she was busy, I went into the kitchen and put on coffee. Not to be kind. I just knew I was about to need it. When she finished her call, she marched into my kitchen like she'd been invited, sat down at my table, and pulled out a tablet. Then she looked up at me and said, All right, let's discuss your compliance issues. I leaned against the counter. My what? She started tapping her screen. Your driveway exceeds the approved maximum length. Your outbuilding is not compliant with community architecture standards. Your fence color is unapproved. You have visible storage materials. Your home exterior doesn't match the required palette. And you appear to be keeping livestock. I stared at her. I have 2 goats. That is livestock, she said sharply. Not allowed. My jaw tightened. This is rural property. Still subject to community rules, she replied, like she'd practiced it in the mirror. I took a sip of coffee and tried to stay calm. Look, I don't know who you think you are, but I'm not part of your HOA. She smiled again, that same smug little smile. You are now. Then she turned the tablet toward me. It was a map. A neat, clean boundary line with labels and zones, and right there, in bold shading, was my land sitting inside something called the Silver Creek Ridge Community District. I stared at it, confused and angry at the same time. She said, Boundaries were updated last year. Your property is now included. I felt something cold crawl through my chest, and it wasn't the weather. So you're telling me, I said slowly, you just decided my land belongs to your HOA? The county approved it, she replied. It's legal. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I never got any notice. She shrugged like that was my problem. Not my responsibility. You should stay informed. Then she tapped her screen again and said, you also owe back dues. Plus late fees. I narrowed my eyes. How much? She didn't hesitate. For $1,680. I actually laughed again, but this time it wasn't amusement. It was disbelief. You drove through a blizzard, I said, to demand money from someone you've never met. Her face hardened. I drove through a blizzard because some people refuse to follow rules and think they're above the community. I took another sip of coffee, then set the mug down carefully so I didn't throw it. Get out, I said. Her eyes widened slightly. Excuse me. Get out of my house, I repeated. You can wait for your tow truck in your car. Or walk. I don't care. Colleen stood up so fast her chair scraped the floor. You are making a very serious mistake. Our association has legal authority. We can place a lien on your property. That word hit like a threat wrapped in paperwork. She leaned forward. 30 days. Pay what you owe and fix the violations, or we will proceed with enforcement. I stepped closer. You're not placing anything on my property. You're not telling me what to do. And you're not coming back here. Her voice went cold. You'll be hearing from our attorney. I smiled. Good. Tell them I said hi. She grabbed her tablet and stormed back outside into the blizzard. I watched from the window as she struggled through the snow toward her stuck SUV, slipping twice, arms flailing like karma had personally decided to humble her. And when the door shut and the house went quiet again, the anger hit me all at once. I wasn't scared yet. I was insulted. Because people like Colleen don't talk to you like you're human. They talk to you like you're a problem to be fixed, controlled, fined, or forced into line. That day I couldn't focus on work. I couldn't even enjoy the storm like I normally would. My brain just kept replaying her voice. You owe back dues, lien enforcement. That night, when the wind died down a little, I called the one person out here who knows every piece of land history like it's gossip. Hank Dawson, old rancher guy, lived near Red Hollow his whole life. He picked up fast. You alive? He asked. Barely, I said. You ever heard of Silver Creek Ridge expanding their HOA boundaries? There was a pause. Then Hank sighed. Oh hell, they got you too. My stomach dropped. So it's real. It's real that they're trying, Hank said. Legal? That's the fight. He told me Silver Creek Ridge wasn't just an HOA. It was connected to a development company called Granite Summit Holdings, the kind of operation with money, attorneys, and a habit of treating rural landowners like speed bumps. They've been swallowing up land piece by piece, Hank said. Most people don't fight. They pay and move on. Yeah, well, I'm not paying, I said. Then you need a lawyer, Hank replied. And you need to call Tessa Ward. He gave me the number. I called. She answered sounding exhausted, but sharp. Tessa Ward. I said, my name's Mason Reed. I think your HOA just tried to rob me during a blizzard. She let out a short laugh. Yep. Welcome to the club. I explained everything. She listened without interrupting. Then she asked something I didn't expect. Do you have any easements on your land? I frowned. Maybe. There's an old access strip on the east side. It's on my survey. Nobody uses it. Tessa's voice sharpened. Can you send me your title report and your survey? I hesitated. Why? I'm not promising anything, she said carefully. But if that easement is what I think it is, you might have leverage. Over the next 2 days, while the storm still buried everything, I dug through old documents until my eyes hurt. Closing papers, plats, title insurance, maps. And there it was. A recorded easement from 1908. Not just a casual trail. A legal right-of-way with specific terms. Agricultural access only, connecting parcels back when this whole area was ranch land. I emailed it to Tessa. An hour later, she called me back sounding almost excited. Mason, she said, are you sitting down? I sat. She said, Silver Creek Ridge's main entrance road is built on your easement. My heart stopped. What does that mean? It means half their neighborhood uses your land every day to get home, she said. But the easement is restricted. Agricultural use only. They're not agriculture. They've been violating it for years. For a second, I couldn't even speak. Because suddenly, everything made sense. Why they were so aggressive. Why they wanted to force me into the HOA. Why they were threatening liens. They weren't just trying to collect money. They were trying to control me before I realized I had the power to ruin them. The next day, I hired an attorney in Fort Collins named Aaron Pike. Calm guy, sharp as a blade, no patience for bullies. He reviewed everything and said, "You have leverage. 2 fights. HOA forced membership and easement violation. Combined, it's pressure." He sent 2 letters. 1. Challenging the HOA boundary expansion and lack of direct notice. 2. Demanding the developer stop using the easement unless they negotiated new terms. 2 days later, my phone started blowing up. Calls, voicemails, final notices, threat letters, legal warnings. Then, one Monday morning, a man in a tailored coat showed up in a black SUV like the storm didn't apply to him. He stepped out and smiled like he was about to sell me insurance. "Mr. Reed," he said, "I'm Damian Cole, attorney for Silver Creek Ridge." I didn't invite him inside. I stayed on my porch in the cold and said, "What do you want?" Damian smiled. "I'd like to resolve this without escalation." I laughed. "Your HOA president showed up during a blizzard demanding thousands of dollars. That wasn't escalation. She was informing you of your obligations," he said smoothly. "I have no obligations to your HOA," I said. "But your development has obligations to my easement, and you've ignored them." His smile thinned. "That easement has been in use for years." "Illegally," I replied. Damian's eyes narrowed. "You're threatening to cut off families from their homes." I leaned forward. "No, I'm threatening to stop being treated like I'm disposable." For the first time, he looked annoyed. "You're being unreasonable," he said. I smiled. "Then tell your clients to read their own paperwork." He left without shaking my hand. A week later, Aaron filed suit. And that's when it got bigger than me. A local reporter caught wind of it. Rachel Wynn. She started digging into the HOA expansion approvals. Turns out the county official who pushed the boundary update had connections to Granite Summit. Emails surfaced. Strange timing. Quiet favors. Money trails people didn't want explained. Public pressure hit like a truck. At the first court hearing, the judge didn't look impressed with anyone's excuses. The HOA attorney tried to argue public filing was enough notice. Aaron calmly pushed back. Then the easement issue came up, and the developer's attorney got real careful, real fast. Because the easement language was clear, agriculture only. The judge didn't shut down the access road that day, but she ordered mediation fast, 30 days to negotiate, or she'd consider stronger action. At mediation, Granite Summit CEO tried to charm his way through it. Offered a one-time payment like he was tipping a waiter. I didn't move. I said, "You've been using my land for years. You want to keep using it, you pay for it. And you remove my property from your HOA permanently." Colleen Hart was there too, sitting with her arms crossed, shooting daggers at me. At one point she snapped, "This is selfish. Families need that road." I looked at her and said, "Then your developer should have built a legal road, not an illegal shortcut." The mediator finally got everyone to stop pretending. In the end, Granite Summit paid a large settlement for past use, plus annual payments under a formal agreement. They removed my land from the HOA boundary permanently, filed, recorded, done. And the part that surprised me most? They were forced to review every other property they'd absorbed and remove the ones where notice wasn't properly handled. A month later, Tessa called me and said, laughing, "We won. 11 properties got released." Colleen Hart didn't stay president much longer after that. Even her own community got tired of her power trips. And me? I went back to my normal life. Same goats. Same fence. Same long driveway. No approved color palette. No rules. No dues. But the thing I can't stop thinking about is how close I came to being steamrolled, just because someone with confidence and paperwork decided they could. So I want to ask you something. If an HOA tried to force you into membership after you bought your land, claimed you owed them thousands, then you discovered their entire development depended on an easement through your property, would you fight? Or would you pay just to make the problem disappear? Drop your opinion in the comments, because people are going to argue about this one, and I want to know where you stand. And if you've ever dealt with an HOA bully, a property dispute, or someone trying to control you with threats and fines, share your story too. Like, subscribe, and stick around, because the next story is even crazier, and trust me, not everyone gets a win like this.